Ask a 7-year-old how long until their birthday. Watch their whole face fall. 3 weeks, that's an eternity. The waiting stretches out like a hallway with no door at the end. Now ask a 40-year-old where this year went. They pause. They laugh, a little uneasily, and then they genuinely cannot tell you. It just evaporated. Same calendar. Same 365 days. Wildly different felt duration. Time didn't change. Your brain's frame rate did. Welcome to the psychology of people. Here's what's strange. The clock is the most objective thing we own. A second is a second, and yet almost nobody actually experiences it that way. Your childhood summers felt enormous. Endless afternoons that wouldn't quit. Now whole seasons collapse into a single sentence. Wait, it's autumn already? It's one of the most universal complaints humans have. Across cultures, across centuries, and for most of history, we just shrugged and called it growing up. In 2019, a Duke engineering professor named Adrian Bejan proposed an answer rooted not in psychology but in physics, and it starts, oddly, with your eyes. Bejan's claim is that we never perceive time directly, we perceive change. Specifically, the rate at which the mind registers fresh mental images. Picture your awareness as a film reel. Each new image is one frame. Pack more frames into a moment, and that moment feels longer, denser, slower. When a child watches a butterfly cross a yard, their mind might capture hundreds of frames. Wings, color, motion, light, all of it, in vivid succession. And here's Bejan's key move. That rate physically slows as we age. Fewer frames per second of clock time means each day quietly shrinks. Why would it slow? Start with a tiny constant motion you never notice. Your eyes don't glide across a scene, they jump. These jumps are called saccades, dozens every second, snapping from point to point. Each landing is roughly one new mental snapshot, one new frame. Bejan argues saccade frequency drops with age. The eyes flick less often. The neural pathways carrying those signals degrade. The body itself grows larger and slower. Longer nerves, slower signals, fewer snapshots. A child's brain is sampling the world at a furious rate. An older brain samples the same scene less often. Fewer frames captured, fewer frames to remember. The clock ticks identically for both. But the inner film of a 7-year-old runs richer, fuller, slower. Bejan came at this as an engineer, not a psychologist. He treats the eye like a sampling device, measuring how fast it can refresh the picture of the world. There's a smaller version of this you feel every single day. Bejan noticed it too. Morning you and midnight you live in different time. A rested mind processes more images and time feels slower. A tired mind processes fewer, and the hours fly. The fresh morning genuinely runs longer. Think about a groggy late evening. You blink and an hour's gone. Now think of waking clear-headed at dawn. The same hour feels spacious, unhurried. So that's the physics story. Elegant, mechanical, a little unsettling. But most cognitive scientists think it's only one thread. There's a second explanation, almost mathematical. It's called the proportionality account. It's the one most people stumble onto themselves, usually somewhere around their 30th birthday, staring at a ceiling. To a 7-year-old, 1 year is a seventh of everything they've ever lived. To a 40-year-old, that same year is just 1/40th. Each new year becomes a thinner slice of the whole pie, so it feels proportionally smaller. Time isn't speeding up. Your denominator keeps growing. There's a kinder way to read it too. Each year feels smaller because you've simply accumulated more life to compare it against. The pie got bigger. It's intuitive, almost too neat. And critics push back. They say proportionality is a lovely metaphor, but not really a proven mechanism in the brain. Because here's the thing it can't explain. Why do 2 weeks in a brand new city feel so much longer than 2 months of your normal routine? You can probably feel the answer in your own body. The newness did something. It slowed the whole world down to a walking pace. That puzzle points to the explanation many researchers now find most convincing. It's not about eyes or fractions. It's about memory and novelty. Children are encoding new information almost constantly. Every day is first time. That density of novelty stamps memory with markers timestamps the brain can later count. Adults, by contrast, slide into routine. The same commute, the same desk, the same Tuesday. Repeated near-identical days leave almost no distinct markers behind. And when you look back on a stretch with few markers, your brain has little to measure. So it collapses. A whole year compressed to a smear. It's why people say their 20s felt long and their 30s felt fast. The 20s were full of firsts. The 30s often were full of repeats. This is the trick at the heart of felt time. You have to separate two questions that constantly get tangled together. 1. How long does an interval feel while you're inside it? 2. How long does it feel later, looking back? They often disagree completely. A thrilling novel week feels fast while you live it. Too much happening. But in hindsight it feels long, because it left so many vivid memories. A dull, routine week feels slow while you're in it, then vanishes in memory because it left almost nothing distinct to hold on to. Notice the trap. The very thing that makes a week comfortable, predictability, is the thing that makes it disappear. Comfort and memory pull in opposite directions. That's the cruel symmetry of adulthood. We build comfortable routines. Routines feel manageable in the moment, and then they quietly erase the months behind us. William James saw this back in the 1890s. He wrote that the years of adulthood grow emptier, and time accelerates as novelty drains away. A child's first snowfall is an event carved in stone. The 40th snowfall barely registers. Same snow. One brain was watching like it mattered. This is also why vacations feel paradoxical. Packed with new sights, they race by in the moment, then expand into something huge when you tell the story later. Hoss. But here's a hopeful turn from 2025 research. Older adults don't lose everything to the blur. They actually recall meaningful experiences more vividly than younger people do. So the routine middle dissolves, yes. But the moments that mattered, the births, the goodbyes, the once-in-a-lifetime mornings, those stay sharp, colored, alive. Your brain, it seems, is a ruthless editor. It keeps the emotionally charged scenes in high resolution and quietly trims the repeated, unremarkable footage, which reframes the whole anxiety. It's not that your later years are emptier, it's that the forgettable parts forget themselves, and the meaningful parts endure. Now, a fair warning, none of these theories has won. There's no single agreed model of why time accelerates. Felt time is multiply determined. Bejan's saccade physics is contested. Many argue memory, attention, and emotion drive far more of it than the speed of a nerve signal ever could. Proportionality is criticized as math dressed up as biology, and the novelty account, while powerful, is hard to isolate from everything else happening in a life. Most researchers now see felt time as a chorus, not a solo. Physiology, proportion, memory, emotion all singing at once, in different keys for different people. But notice what all the leading explanations quietly agree on. Whatever the mechanism, two levers keep showing up. Novelty and attention. Haas, which is unexpectedly good news, because both of those are things you can actually do something about. Felt time isn't entirely out of your hands. Consider this. If routine is what collapses a year, then deliberately breaking routine may stretch it back out. Research consistently points the same direction. Take a different route home. Eat somewhere new. Learn a skill that makes you clumsy again. Each novel thing lays down a fresh memory marker. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Novelty isn't always a plane ticket. A new recipe, a different park bench, an unfamiliar piece of music will register too. You're not trying to fill time, you're trying to mark it. The goal isn't a busier calendar, it's a more distinct one in hindsight. And the second lever may matter even more, attention. Routine vanishes mostly because we run it on autopilot, half present, eyes open but not really seeing. So one approach, when something ordinary happens, actually look, notice the light, the texture, The face in front of you, presence raises the density of a moment. One study after another lands on the same humble idea. We don't remember time, we remember events. Give yourself more events, and the years grow fuller. It sounds almost too simple, but that childhood slowness wasn't magic. It was a brain encountering a world it hadn't memorized yet, paying total attention. There's a reason a single weekend away can feel longer than the entire month that swallowed it. Density of experience, not duration on a clock. You can borrow a little of that back. Not by panicking about lost time, but by designing for moments worth remembering. If you find these questions worth sitting with, consider following the show. It's a quiet way to keep one curious conversation going, week after week. Pause. Because here's the reframe I keep returning to. The acceleration you feel isn't a countdown, it's feedback. Your felt time is telling you something honest. It's telling you how much of your life you've spent genuinely awake to it, and where the autopilot took over without asking permission. And maybe that's the gift hiding inside the question. Not where did the time go, but what would I have to do to feel it again? So next time a year disappears, don't just mourn it. Ask what it was made of. Routine evaporates. Attention stays. Novelty leaves footprints you can count. A second is still a second. But how much of it you actually live? That part, it turns out, was never fixed. This was The Psychology of People.